The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel welcomes you to this edition of the Mayors and Supervisors Weekly Update, brought to you by...
Each week, our community makes history. Each week, you make history. And each week, there's only one source to turn to for the first take on history. You know what that is? Subscribe to the Sentinel right now to discover the history being made in your own backyard.
The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel. More than just your news, it's your history.
Welcome, everyone, to this week's version of the Mayors and Supervisors Update. I'm Chris Carosa, president of nothing, publisher of the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel. Today we have our delicious town supervisors speaking to us. Jerry, why don't you start off and tell us what's going on in Rush?
Well, I will tell you that Rush has sunshine and nice temperatures today, and that is a welcome thing. That continues to make us be the best kept secret in Western New York. I will update you on roof repairs for the library. The exterior work is 90% done. They are working on the interior, and the roof does not leak, so that's a good thing. After 14 years of leaking, we can make that claim. The COVID, as most of you know, I had the bug, got rid of it. I'm happy about that, and I'm feeling better every day. In thinking about spring, I think I mentioned last time that the Monroe County in Bloom project is being resurrected this year. It was canceled in 2020, but we have ordered our allotment of flowers that we can plant at the Park and Ride area on Route 15 and 251. We're looking forward to that. The beautification committee is up and running, and they're in the process of recruiting participants to take responsibility, go out, plant flowers, beautify the town in general. And I want to make a special thanks to the Highway Department Superintendent for agreeing to water the plants this year. Our volunteers last year had to struggle carrying water. This year, I'm told that the Highway Department will use a tank on a truck and go around and water the plants. I also want to announce that we have a 15 days of spring event sponsored by the Rush Recreation and Parks Association that will include a proclamation to celebrate our 2021 planting season, area farmers and major project underway at the 100-acre park, which is over along the river at the intersection with the river and 251. April 18th through the 24th is going to be the 4th annual cleanup day. And it's a family and neighbor event. It's always been well attended. We hope that even more will attend this year. The Rush annual brush pickup event will start on April 19th. Earth Day, of course, is April 22nd, and Arbor Day is April 30th. Our new website is well underway, and I want to give a special thanks to Deputy Supervisor Amber Corbin, Town Clerk Pamela Busey, and Deputy Town Clerk Shelley O'Hearn for the participation they have had in driving this to a successful conclusion. I should also announce that the Tree City program, under the sponsorship of the Rush Parks Association with Carol Barnett taking the lead, is an initiative that we hope to implement sometime in the future, but it's going to take some tweaking to make it fit for the town of Rush. And I think that will be a good ad. I'll stop there.
Okay, thank you very much, Jerry. John, town of Mendon, how are we doing there?
Chris, thanks again for the time. Uh, At the last town board meeting, we did establish a committee to look into a response from the town regarding the tragic helicopter crash that occurred in the town of Mendon recently. The committee's first meeting will be on Tuesday, March 23rd at our community center at 7 p.m. We have a 10-person committee, and they will be, all those meetings will be open to the public. They will be advertised as such. So that'll be in the legals in a paper you may have heard of called the Sentinel shortly. Also, I want to thank all those folks that are participating in this committee. This is a very serious subject, and we certainly want to make sure that whatever the response is from the town, that it meets with the family's wishes. Also, the solar farm, we've had a lot of calls about that. That is on Quaker Meeting House Road across from the Transportation and Building Department of the HFL school. That is moving forward. I think most of the questions occur because you really don't see anything, and you really won't see anything from the road. So people have asked a lot of questions about that, and that is progressing. Also, our highway department will be out collecting brush. I don't have an exact date, but it'll be late April, early May. Our highway superintendent is giving some thought to taking down snow fence, which is always a welcome sight to me. No matter what municipality takes it down, that's a sure sign of spring. So we will be gathering brush this spring as always. That's town of Mendon outside the village. Also with the latest relief package from Washington, it's believed that, I don't know all the details, that there may be some financial pieces in that for municipalities. I'm sure we'll learn more about that, but it would be related to loss of revenue from various sources that has occurred due to the pandemic. So that's a possibility. Also, all of our town board meetings are taking place in person as well as virtually. There's a virtual component, so anyone can go to the town's website, sign on, view the meetings. You can participate as far as public comment goes, virtually as well as in person. And we will continue to meet at the community center for the remainder of 2021 at minimum. The last thing I would mention is that they've announced, of course, that effective March 17th, anyone age 60 or above, or anyone who meets other criteria is available for the COVID shots. And as we've seen, there's more and more places opening up. So I would encourage everyone to look into that and do what's in their best interest. Once again, Chris, thanks for having me.
Thank you very much, John. Mike, town of Lima, how are we doing there?
Good, Chris. Just one of the annual things that everybody looks forward to is the annual German Festival. It is always the second Sunday in June. This year is going to be sort of a placeholder festival. The German Club will be selling meals in a drive-through format, and the details will be forthcoming on their website. Advanced sale tickets, people stream out to Pond Road, go through the line, pick up their meals, and head off to bring them home and enjoy them. The elevator project continues. Millwork is getting installed around all the doors to match the interior trim and all of those things. Carpeting looks like it's going to be last in the chain. Then the interior floor treatment in the actual elevator itself. We will be having a town cleanup day where people bring their junk and other things to the highway department. We do this annually. The details and the announcement will be coming out in the Sentinel. This year, we are also going to be addressing electronics. And so any resident of the town of Lima will be able to bring some electronics in and get those recycled also. That way we're not seeing televisions abandoned on the roadsides, et cetera, and having to pick them up in pieces. I attended the call yesterday with Senator Schumer regarding the stimulus. He went through a whole bunch of different regulations and rules and things around it. Municipalities should be seeing checks within 60 days for the first half of whatever it is that they've been allocated. They said that they use the standard formula, that it's just how population driven and some other things. So everybody should be on fairly even footing. We continue our drive for the veterans HFL school tax exemption and our petition for the Bragg, Doran 5 and 20 safety change there at the intersection. Both of those are still listed on the town website. And you can click in, grab the form and send it off to the school district, or click on the other link and go and sign the online petition for the road work. We are moving forward with some of the other things in the area. I did contact the Public Service Commission regarding the poles on the north end of Clay Street. The phone company has left the broken and old poles up even after all the new poles were placed and all the power was moved across. I did receive a phone call back from Frontier. They said, yes, we will be out there to take those out. It has been, I believe, 5 years that we have had the poles just left there. And sadly, we did have someone crash into one and pass away a few years ago. So we'll see if a little bit of pressure from the Public Service Commission actually makes it work. And that's all I have today, Chris.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Todd in West Bloomfield, how are we doing there?
Chris, thanks. Good to see you again. Just a couple updates from the county and from the town. Last night at our Board of Supervisors meeting, we approved our police reform and reinvention collaborative plans that will be getting sent off to the governor's office in short order. That was a couple of months of effort. A lot of stakeholders and a lot of residents submitted surveys, et cetera. So I think it's a pretty good plan. It was almost a couple hundred pages. There are copies of it out on the sheriff's website, along with about a 5-page executive summary that the county administrator did, which is kind of the Cliff's Notes version. So a much easier read than going through the whole collaborative plan. An update, at least from the vaccine perspective, we heard from our public health director last night. Kind of folks are starting to ask questions in regards to the J&J vaccine versus the Moderna Pfizer 2-dose versus 1-dose. And really the comment is, get what you can if it's available. Don't go and look somewhere else. The small communities like ours, Ontario County, we're getting the doses that we get. And if you are traveling somewhere else and you're one of the eligible parties, it's better to just take advantage of what we have in place. Understand some folks might have a need to go somewhere else. But given the changes to travel policies announced by the governor yesterday, it's also very important to note that the 1-dose vaccine has a longer period of time before you're free from those non-quarantine requirements. So just make sure that you're kind of asking all of the questions and preparing appropriately depending on which vaccine you have available to you and when you can get it. In town, we had a visitor from the Rotary at our board meeting on Wednesday, and just want to make everyone aware of a fundraiser that they are doing. It's going to be, you can find it on their website, which is redwhiteandbloomfield.org. And it's a subscription for community-based flags. So it's a 3x5 flag that they will come and plant in your yard, essentially, is the way they phrased it. They will plant it in your yard 4 times a year for the 4 kind of significant holidays: Memorial Day, Flag Day, Independence Day, and then a joint Labor Day 9/11 observance day. It's a 3x5 flag on an 8-foot pole with a stake. They'll come and put it in your yard, display it, and then come take it down about a week later. And that's a subscription and fundraiser. I think it was $75. So I encourage anyone to go take a look at that. Again, it's redwhiteandbloomfield.org for the Rotary to see that. At our town board meeting this week, we adopted our pandemic/emergency health plan as required. So we will be submitting that to the state. We also are going to be sending out a letter to all of our residents. We're looking for help. We know that we need some members for our planning board, and both our planning and zoning board of appeals have positions where we can have alternates. So if you're interested and maybe can't vote full-time, consider being an alternate. It's a way to get some education, learn more about the town, and help us provide a better level of service to our residents. We will be working on our comprehensive plans. We're looking for folks to fill that. Our Board of Assessment Review is always looking for folks, and we will have some part-time clerk positions, et cetera, available as well. And lastly, just want to point out that there will be multiple, as was already mentioned, e-waste and tire recycling events. Ours are specific to Ontario County with our relationship with Casella and managing the landfill. We sponsor a couple of events a year. The next one will be March 27th. It's a tire recycling event, and it will be in the town of Victor. You can go out and register on the county's website. You can register, I believe, up until the 24th. So again, that is on March 27th in Victor, and it is a tire recycling event. Lastly, an interesting fact from this morning's conversation with the school superintendent, as they continue on their programs for sports, et cetera, and allowing 2 visitors or per athlete. The visiting teams are not allowed to have visitors just because of restrictions. And they are looking to try to continue having some of their events this spring, like prom and dances, et cetera, under the wedding and event classification because they're outside of the school. So we're looking to try to bring back some normalcy to the students, and anything that we can do to help the students at this point in time. We've been doing a really good job in the school district, getting the kids in class and the high school being back, et cetera. And so this is just another way to help them normalize this crazy year that they've had. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. And thank you all for participating in this week's version of the Mayors and Supervisors Update. Remember, we're on the air every Sunday at 1 o'clock on YouTube and Facebook. So all you need to do is go there and you can see what everyone's talking about. Otherwise, if you want to read it, it'll be in the paper the next week. All right, so that's it for this week. Bye-bye for now, everyone.
Thank you, Chris.
Imagine yourself communicating with a difference. Pan-Dimensional Solutions helps you do this. Whether live spectator events, taped broadcasts, or real-time audience-engaging programs, you can benefit immediately from the tools Pan-Dimensional Solutions will share with you. Do you want to make a difference? Contact us at pandimensional.com.